Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to episode 95 of Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker and on iHeartRadio. If you have any opinions on everything that goes on in the Detroit sports world, just call in or text at 231-429-3668. That's 231-429-3668. Tonight we're going to, also you can add me on Facebook as Taylor Phillips online at facebook.com/Phil1DT. Like my Facebook page, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports page. Join my Facebook group, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports Group, and follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Tonight we're going to talk about the Red Wings Blue Jackets game tonight, and more people hating the shootout, and worse yet, wanting ties in the NHL regular season. Also, I'm going to recap Michigan State Spartans basketball against the Duke Blue Devils. The Central Michigan Chippewas taking care of the Youngstown State Penguins. I'm also going to preview a little bit of Pistons and Suns. And I'm also going to talk about I also have an update from about the Detroit Tigers talking trade business or something like that. I have an update about David Price. Right now I'm sharing episode 95 on all my other social media sites. I am on LinkedIn, Google+, Pinterest. It's shared on Pinterest right now. Okay. Sorry for the delay. The Red Wings go into Columbus and shut out the Blue Jackets 5-0. Head coach Mike Babcock said Tuesday prior to playing the Columbus Blue Jackets that he wasn't sure what team would show up. Would it be the Red Wings who lost by 3 goals to the Montreal Canadiens on Sunday with no energy? Or the ones who defeated the Chicago Blackhawks by 3 goals 2 nights earlier than that? 2 nights before that. The very good Red Wings were on display for 60 minutes in Nationwide Arena and behind 28 saves from Jimmy Howard, defeated the Blue Jackets 5-0. Babcock said, quote, "2 of the last 3 games have been good. It's the consistency that you're looking for." Howard stopped 20 shots through the first 2 periods, and the Red Wings built on goals by Tomas Tatar and Gustav Nyquist. With goals 72 seconds apart in the third by Tomas Jurko on the power play. Nyquist scored on the power play as well. And Riley Sheahan. Jurko and Sheahan second at 72 seconds apart. Darren Helm scored his second of the season with 61 seconds left. His second goal of the season. The Red Wings were 2 for 6 on the power play. That's not bad at all. That's not too bad. The Wings only killed off 4 of their own penalties. Detroit now improving a 9-4-5, won for the first time in its past 4 road games. Columbus 6-11-1 had won 2 in a row following a 9-game losing streak. Howard got his 19th career shutout in his 300th NHL game. All with the Red Wings, he is 160, 89, and 41. Babcock said, quote, "When you look at the score afterward, you see 5-0 and say that's no contest. That's not the case at all. Jimmy was really good for us. He gave us a chance." Unquote. Howard preferred talking about the way Detroit responded to the Montreal defeat rather than his personal achievements. He said, quote, "We all knew we didn't play very good, but over the course of the season, those things are going to happen. I thought we did a great job of bouncing back tonight." Unquote. The Blue Jackets might dispute that Howard had a shutout after all. After Tatar gave Detroit a 1-0 lead, Columbus used the first power play of the game to temporarily get even with 1:42 remaining in the first period. But hold on a second. Boone Jenner skated out of the left corner and powered his way toward the crease. Draped by Detroit defenseman Nicholas Kronwall, Jenner was falling to the ice but stuck his leg out and knocked the puck past Howard with his skate. Howard said, quote, "On the original play, I thought it was a goal just because there was a little bit of a pileup and I didn't see the puck. I didn't see where the puck went in. I didn't see where the puck went after he jammed it off me. I was trying to find the puck, and the next thing you know, I hear the cannon going off. When they showed it on the screen, you could tell it was a pretty distinct kicking motion." Unquote. The original call of a good goal was overturned after video review. correctly. And that was good. Blue Jackets defenseman Jack Johnson said there was little frustration about not tying the score. Jack Johnson said, quote, "We were hoping to turn around and score immediately. We still had a lot of time on the power play. Let's get another one. It was still the first period. We never thought in a million years we would get shut out tonight," unquote. The Red Wings made it 2-0 on Nyquist's power play goal a minute 44 into the second period. His ninth goal came off a lengthy rebound that Columbus goalie Sergei Bobrovsky stopped with his left pad but was unable to corral. Detroit put the game away when Johansson was goaded into a roughing penalty on Kyle Quincy, and Yurko scored 8 seconds later off a Detroit faceoff win at 4:49 of the third period. "It was a bad penalty on my part. I can't take that," Johansson said. Yurko used a wrist shot from the left circle to score from the first time in 15 games this season. Yurko said, quote, it was an amazing feeling. It's been so long since I've scored. I couldn't believe it at first." Hey, even I can feel it too, Yurko. Tommy. So, all Red Wing fans knew it was an easy win. 5-0 against the Blue Jackets, who stink. Now let's talk about something that I've already discussed before. The Red Wings go to Winnipeg, by the way, Thursday night at 8 and take on the Jets on Fox Sports Detroit. I caught an article on Facebook, an opinion column article from the Detroit News, written by Greg Krupa at 8:10 p.m. tonight, titled, headline, "Time for NHL to fix shootout by abandoning it. Here's how it goes. Hockey is a team sport in which group effort and strategies are so essential that all the big stars talk about how their contributions must serve the whole to win games, let alone the Stanley Cup. The primary task is players to work in concert to score or defend. So it seems odd that precisely when a game is most in the balance, the NHL switches to the individual skills of 2 players at a time to decide one of the hardest fought victories in sport, the shootout. Man, I hate it. I loathe the inappropriateness. Imagine a home run derby instead of extra innings in baseball. How about a punt, pass, and kick competition instead of the 15-minute overtime in the NFL? Free throws instead of overtime in the NBA. Any takers? How about a game of horse, absurd? Oh, you betcha. But we are watching the absurdity for a 10th NHL season because it was decided that one of the most exciting and rarely seen plays in the game, and I agree with that part, exciting. The penalty shot would make more money. Okay, the euphemisms were clear-cut outcomes and fan interest, but it was about the constant craving for more revenue that afflicts all sport, and clearly not about the integrity of the game. The Red Wings were one of 2 NHL teams to oppose adopting the shootout. And Ken Holland's years-long campaign to expand overtime and the offensive opportunities in the extra point to decrease the reliance on the shootout is a noble effort. But at a meeting of general managers in Toronto Tuesday, it was decided to change the baby step the NHL took more competitive overtimes, a dry scrape of the ice with Zambonis to improve the playing surface. Teams of skaters with shovels will be dispatched instead. Minor repairs. And little more consideration was given to meaningful steps, like more minutes played in overtime with the use of 3-on-3 in addition to 4-on-4. At the meeting, the managers did review goaltender interference for about 45 minutes, Holland said. The possibility of instituting a coach's challenge also was discussed. Both examinations will continue and are likely topics for the March meeting. The fact the AHL went to longer overtimes, 7 minutes, and added 3-on-3 beginning with the first face-off after the 4-minute mark, with considerable success this season, only proves the point. Last season, 64.7% of overtime games in the AHL were decided by shootouts. This season so far, it is only 16.7%. Just 16.7. Red Wings general manager Ken Holland said 1/3 of the overtime goals are occurring in the last 2 minutes in the AHL. As for the dry scraping with Zambonis, some teams did not mind the incumbent delay, but others viewed it as too disruptive, especially because some rinks were not making the expected 4.5-minute time limit. David Poley, the general manager of the Nashville Predators, said, quote, "The big word everybody uses is buzzkill," unquote. I don't know what the buzzkill term refers to any of this. Starting Saturday, anyway, Holland said teams will dispatch the skaters. And said, quote, and then hopefully after something in the neighborhood at a minute and a half or 2 minutes, we'll be up and running, unquote. I suppose the hope is that the shovels are held so evenly, a task Zambonis are specifically designed to perform, they will improve the ice more than damage it. Regardless, the shootout is far too common. Overtime remedy? It regularly decides 14% all NHL games, and currently about 40% of all decided in overtime. That number was as high as 60% recently, Holland said, but mandating that teams make the long line change from their offensive zones this season has helped, if only a bit. Meanwhile, which individual players have been lousy in the shootout? What is that? What the hell does that question mean? Lousy? Oh. That means nothing. Steven Stamkos, Joe Sakic, Marian Gaborik, Paul Kariya, and Jerome McGinley, noted snipers, and perhaps all headed for the Hockey Hall of Fame, in large part because of their advanced scoring prowess. Henrik Zetterberg has scored on only 24.1% of the shots in his career. Jimmy Howard, who has been brilliant throughout his career on the penalty shots, has a heck of a time in shootouts. He is not the only one. Even in their best seasons, goalies like Cam Ward and Nicholas Backstrom had miserable times of it. So precisely, whose skills are in the competition? Not some of the best performers in the sport, clearly. For years now, Holland is advocating meaningful change. Holland said, quote, "I understand that in these games you've got to have a winner and a loser, and the shootout does that. I've just pushed to have more games decided in the overtime." Now I'm getting near the point where this is meaningless here. Quote, the American League, continuing with Ken Holland's quote, the American League numbers are dramatic. The American Hockey League, AHL. I think when we get a bigger body of work and then get to the March meeting, we'll have a closer look at the AHL numbers and the NHL numbers. Unquote. Change is plainly in order. From Krupa's perspective, frankly, what was wrong with a tie? A tie. That's the point that's meaningless. It used to be such an honorable thing in the NHL. That's little league hockey, for goodness sake. A tie on the road is as good as a win. No, it's not. We will never see those days again, but certainly 4 minutes of... Well, that's good. But certainly 4 minutes of 4-on-4 and 3 minutes of 3-on-3 before the shootout or something similar is far more in keeping with the very spirit and the heart and soul of hockey. It is a good fight. Now, I read some of the comments on not only on this article, but the post of the link on Facebook as well. And most of you actually wanted a tie.
That's not what I want you here. What's your problem there, pal? Can't a guy get a bit of sleep? Don't bug me.
See, ties never settle things, in my opinion. That's my point. Ties are boring. Because in ties, there are no winners. And there are no losers. And it's more like a no contest in wrestling. Like the wrestling match is called off just because it ended in a draw. That is remotely unfair garbage. And the tie should never come back to the NHL or the AHL or any level in the sport of hockey. If they're going to get rid of the shootout, make sure they replace it with continuous overtime until somebody wins, just like in the playoffs. First you go 4-on-4, and then 3-on-3, and then 3-on-3, and then 3-on-3. And so on until somebody scores a goal, a game-winning goal. That's about all I have to say. But I love the shootout, and I think it's still exciting. It does take at least 3 shooters, not just one. It's not like anybody any individual player on a team is arrogant. Now, I understand that most of you hate the shootout, but I love it. But I love the shootout. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on from hockey here. Actually, I do have an article about other rules upcoming in the near future in the National Hockey League. Let's get some college basketball final scores here. Michigan State falls to number 4 Duke, 81-71 in the Champions Classic in Indiana. It's almost the same story there, but still the same result. Brandon Dawson scored 18 points on 8 of 10 shooting. Quinn Cook scored 19 points and Jahlil Okafor had 17 for the Blue Devils. Spartans take on Loyola, Illinois this Friday. Travis Trice had 15 points. Spartans dropped to 1-1. The Central Michigan Chippewas improved to 2-0 with a win at McGuirk Arena in Mount Pleasant, 75-63. CMU out-rebounded Youngstown State 54-30. John Simons collected 13 rebounds. Austin Stewart finished with 8 points, 5 rebounds, and a game-high 3 steals. Chris Fowler scored 16 points in 34 minutes. Freshman forward Luke Meyer had a second straight double-digit game-scoring game, recording 13 points and added 9 rebounds. The Maroon and Gold are back in action this Friday at 7 versus Maine as part of the Central Michigan Tournament, and again on Sunday at 12:30 against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Both games are scheduled to be broadcast on ESPN3. Now back to hockey here. One other immediate change from the meeting is hockey operations has been given the mandate to stop play immediately if it determines a legal goal has been scored but missed by the officials on the ice. In the past, the game would continue until a stoppage of play initiated a review. Now, hockey operations can initiate a stoppage of play as soon as they confirm the puck has crossed the goal line in a legal manner. This article is written by Corey Masisak from NHL.com. Other items will be further monitored, discussed, and quantified by the general managers and their front offices as much as possible between now and March. 3-on-3 overtime will be one of those issues examined in far greater detail in the coming months. The American Hockey League switched to a 7-minute overtime period this year, using 4-on-4 until the first whistle following 3 minutes of play, and then 3-on-3 for the remaining time this season. That format has resulted in far fewer games reaching the shootout in the AHL. Another topic for the GMs was the continued evolution of the use of replay. A focus in the meeting was goaltender interference, which is currently not a reviewable infraction. David Polley, the general manager of the Predators, said he suggested suggested the possibility of the officials using a monitor at ice level to review the play like referees do in basketball. He said, quote, "We talked about the video replay a lot with goalie interference. Specifically, I brought up the monitor and whether that would be a situation that could be helpful. It was just me bringing that up. I think a lot of people had their points and nothing was decided today. We are all happy with where we are, but we're not satisfied until we get all the goals right. We're striving for perfection, you could say." NHL Senior Vice President of Player Safety Stefan Quintal gave his first report to the GM since assuming the role from Brendan Shanahan in September. One area he discussed was a slight increase in knee-on-knee hits at the start of the season. But back to the goaltender interference stuff here. Campbell Colin Campbell, the Senior Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations in Toronto, said other options could be explored to help the officials in that scenario. He said, quote, "It's a hard thing to really make perfect. I think with the goaltender interference, if we're going to expand video review, people expect us to get it right, and we want to make sure the process is right. Does Toronto do it? Do we do it in our review room upstairs? Is it a coach's challenge? Is it something that's viewed by referees in the penalty box on monitors? I'm not in favor of that, but that's something that was discussed. If we can make it better, we'll implement it, but it's got to be perfect almost when we implement it," unquote. Now back to the knee-on-knee stuff discussion. Chicago Blackhawks general manager Stan Bowman said Quintal wanted the GMs to be aware of the increase, but Bowman cautioned it could be due to a small sample size. It will be monitored throughout the next 4 months and revisited in March. I like those new upcoming rules. Because the goaltender interference wanted by us all to be reviewed is something that we have been waiting for years and years and years. Also, the puck crossing the line for a legal goal before the whistle can be blown is a better idea. The game would continue until a stoppage of play initiated a review. That's even better. Because there has to be some way to solve this problem of the referees blowing the whistle before the puck even crosses the line and not even reviewing not being allowed by Toronto to review that play. They have to review it. Because there's no reason not to review it, and there's every reason to review it. Again, the Red Wings take on the Winnipeg Jets Thursday at 8 o'clock on Fox Sports Detroit and on 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit, in Southfield, and the Detroit Red Wings Radio Network. Pistons take on the Phoenix Suns tomorrow night at 7:30 at the Palace of Auburn Hills on Fox Sports Detroit and Detroit Sports 105.1 WMGC FM in Royal Oak in the greater Detroit area, a subsidiary of Greater Media Detroit. And Specs Howard Broadcasting and ESPN. Like I said before, the Suns are a young team with no superstars, with unfamiliar names. The Suns are kind of struggling in the Pacific Division. A few games ahead of the 1-9 Lakers. And I think the Pistons should beat them. And if they don't, there's a bigger problem. But Stan Van Gundy admitted he made a couple of mistakes, not putting Brandon Jennings out there enough, and not putting Andre Drummond out there long enough either. I also heard that the Tigers are willing to shop starting pitcher David Price for a trade. I was asking earlier this morning that if the Tigers were to trade Max Scherzer to any team for bullpen assistance, would Tigers fans be okay with it? There we go. I asked on my personal Facebook profile. Jennifer Marie said, no, that would be the dumbest move. Scherzer is needed on the Tigers team. Yeah, I know how she feels. Jeremy Dine, one of my old friends, said I would be okay with it. With the amount of money that Scherzer wants per year, the Tigers could build a very effective bullpen. A team could have 5 Cy Young winners, but if they don't throw complete games every start and the bullpen continues to lose game after game, it doesn't matter how many Cy Youngs are in the rotation. That's exactly true. What do you think, Taylor? I feel a 7th, 8th, and 9th inning guy is a great trade for Scherzer. Would probably save some money also. Definitely. Taylor Scarborough says, Robin Runyon, your input. And then absolutely it would be all part of a bigger trade, but that's what I see happening this season. And we need a quality relief more than we need starting pitching right now. Max Scherzer or David Price? TTFN, ta-ta for now.